All right, let's dive right into the heart of your computer. I'm talking about the place where all the real magic happens. It's memory. We're going to break down the two key players in this space, RAM and ROM, and figure out what exactly they do and why they're so important.
You know that moment? You hit the power button or you double-click an icon and your machine just springs to life. It happens in a flash. But have you ever stopped to wonder how? What's actually going on in there that makes it all work so seamlessly? Well, the secret? It's all in its memory.
So to really get a handle on all this, we're going to use one simple idea for this whole explainer. I want you to think of your computer's memory as its own personal workspace. You know, a place where it can think, organize, and just get stuff done.
I mean, think about it. You wouldn't try to get a big project done without a desk, right? Well, your computer's brain, the central processing unit, or CPU, is exactly the same. It needs its own workspace, and that's what we call its primary memory. It's where all the immediate action is happening.
And here's the thing. This isn't just some cute analogy I came up with. It's actually how computers are built from the ground up. The foundational texts for this explainer lay it all out. The CPU and its primary memory are the absolute building blocks of computer architecture. This whole design is what makes everything else possible.
So the most important word here is immediate. Primary memory is the hardware that gives the CPU an instant place to work. It's hardwired right to the computer's brain, which means it can grab information incredibly fast. And that speed, it's absolutely crucial for keeping everything running smoothly without any annoying lag.
Okay, so this primary memory, this workspace, is basically split into two main types. First up, we've got RAM. And if we're sticking with our analogy, you can think of RAM as the computer's messy, temporary scratch pad.
Yep, the full name is Random Access Memory, or RAM for short. And that definition from our source material really hits the nail on the head. Its entire job is to temporarily hold on to whatever the computer is working on right now.
So this is what RAM is doing all day. It's that active scratch pad, right? It's juggling your operating system, that web browser with 20 tabs open, your music player, everything you've got running. And because it's workspace, the CPU has to be able to read from it and write new stuff to it, like constantly. But, and this is a really big but we're about to get into, it's volatile.
So what in the world does volatile mean? Well, it's actually pretty simple. RAM has a terrible long-term memory. It needs a constant supply of electricity to hold on to anything. The second you shut down your computer, poof, everything on that scratch pad is gone, wiped clean. It's like erasing a whiteboard after a brainstorming session. It's built for the here and now and nothing else.
Now, let's talk about the other half of this dynamic duo. If RAM is the temporary, messy scratch pad, then ROM is the computer's permanent, built-in instruction manual.
I mean, the name pretty much gives the whole game away, doesn't it? Read-only memory. The information here is stored permanently, and as our source material points out, it's specifically for the stuff that shouldn't ever be changed.
And this really shows you the difference. ROM is like that factory-sealed instruction manual. It's non-volatile, which is the exact opposite of RAM. It means it remembers everything, even if the power is cut. And its most critical job, it holds the super basic instructions for how to even start the computer, something called the BIOS. And yeah, it's for reading from, not writing to.
Think about it. When you press the power button, the BIOS is the very first thing your computer looks at. It's that fundamental set of instructions that basically says, okay, time to wake up, let's check if all the hardware is here, and then let's get the main operating system loaded up. Seriously, without those permanent instructions stored in ROM, your computer would just be a very expensive paperweight. It wouldn't know how to do anything.
Okay, let's put this all together. We have the fast, forgetful scratch pad and the permanent, unchangeable instruction manual. Let's put them side by side and make this crystal clear.
This table just sums it all up perfectly. First, volatility. RAM is totally temporary, while ROM is permanent. It's got a memory like an elephant. Next, their purpose. RAM is for what you're doing right now. ROM is for those essential startup instructions you always need. And finally, how we access the data. RAM is a two-way street. You can read and write all you want. But ROM, that's a one-way street. Read only, please.
So you might be starting to think, okay, which one's better? But that's kind of the wrong way to look at it. They're not competing with each other at all. They're actually designed to work together in a partnership that is absolutely essential.
And honestly, this is the main takeaway. A computer is completely useless without both of these things. It absolutely needs the ROM, that permanent manual, just to know how to wake up in the morning. And it desperately needs the RAM, that temporary workspace, to have a place to actually do its thinking once it's awake.
Which, leaves us with a pretty fascinating question to chew on.
For decades, we've had this clear line between temporary and permanent memory. But as our technology gets better and better, could we one day see a single universal type of memory that just does it all? Who knows? It's definitely something to think about. Thanks so much for joining me for this one.